real business owners.
What's up, real business owners? Welcome to episode 12. This episode is just Trevor and Kale. We're going to be talking about a lot of our failures, guys, that have really ultimately helped us get to our successes. This podcast is brought to you by Easier Accounting, the nationwide accounting firm for entrepreneurs, built by entrepreneurs. You guys enjoy the show.
Guys, welcome back. Today we've got a great episode for you. I think a lot of light ends up getting shined on all the success that people have, and not enough light gets shined on people's failures and the process that you have to go through it to ultimately be successful in business. And I'm telling you right now, you're going to end up having far more failures than you will successes, because success is basically a process of elimination. And so today we want to talk about a few failures that we've had and some money that we've lost in different business ventures, and maybe some of the investments that we currently have, right? And things that we do to try to make money. But guys, this money and success game is always evolving, right? Like once you hit a six-figure mark, you're trying to get to 200,000 and then 300,000 and then set new goals and get up to the point where you're making, seven figures a year personally, not as a business. And that's kind of where me and Kale are right now. And, that's good to have our focuses on obviously the things that we want in our life and the success that we want. But in order to have that level of success, you're going to have a lot of failures on the way. And so we wanted to let you guys know some of the things that we've tried and some of the things that we've invested in that haven't worked, so that you guys can understand that it's just part of the process and it just is what it is. And you've got to kind of take it on the chin and move on and continue on the path that leads you to your end goal. So, Kel, hop in on it. Tell us a little bit about, obviously everybody knows the starting point of a basement, the basement story from last week's episode. And that ultimately turned into something that was successful. But with all the money that you made, you started investing into different things and trying, different ways to make your money make you money. Yeah. And there were failures along the way and a lot of lessons learned. And so,
absolutely.
And you've been in business longer than me, in terms of entrepreneurship, all that good stuff. And there was investments that you and Jeremy made prior to me, being a partner with you guys. And so, if you can tell us just a little bit about maybe some of the early investments that you made when you first started, making money.
Yeah, I've got a great couple learning lessons. Yeah, I can.
We'll call it learning lessons. Yeah. We'll call failures just learning lessons. That's a better way to put it.
Yeah, the thing is, if you want to make money and you want to be successful, you're going to find out how to do it. Okay, but you're always looking for ways to do more, right? And sometimes, you get presented, once you start having a little bit of success and you start getting presented these opportunities. Let me just tell you guys something. Everything sounds great.
Everything.
Everything. And you're like, wow, so I can still work on my business over here. We're doing this. We're doing seven figures. We're doing whatever it is, you know. And then now I can invest this money over here. And it's almost like a shortcut, right? I'm going to make all this money on the side, and I'm basically going to double my income. You get excited. And it's really just like, I wasn't educated when I started a business, man. I was just starting a business and learning as I go. And so these things come along and they sound so exciting. And so you jump in, and man, they turned out to be some great learning lessons.
Well, you get blinded by the sales pitch.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? Every investment opportunity is obviously going to be presented as the best, and they're not going to tell you, hey, there's an investment opportunity. This one's a little shaky, but approach it at your own risk, so to speak, right? You know, there's, this is so great. We put money into it. This is how much money it's making us, and the presentation is always killer.
It is.
But you have to kind of step back. And the more failures that we've had in terms of investing, it makes us more efficient in terms of vetting the next investment.
It does.
And so, again, as Kel said, that's just a learning lesson or a learning opportunity. You can go to college and spend $50,000 at college, or you can invest into two or three different things with that same 50 or 80 grand or whatever. And you're going to learn a lot of valuable lessons, along the way. And not everything that you do is going to work out. And so
Well, and I think I've had a couple experiences right off the top of my head that I can think of. The first couple big losses.
What about one of the first early investments that you made though that ended up being halfway decent? Mm-hmm. I mean, it didn't pay you like tons and tons of money. Was Del Frisco's one of your first investments? Just kind of when you started coming into money.
Tucanos.
Oh, it's Tucanos.
It still pays me to this day.
Yeah. So what was that? Like a $25,000?
So that was a venture capitalist group. They came to me and they made me fill out this accredited investor packet. Yeah. That's the other thing you got to think of, man. I've actually gotten out of investments. Bad investments. So there's two different people, man. Like sometimes people come to you and they're like super excited about something. It gets you excited, but they genuinely think that their plan is going to work for everybody involved. And then things just go south. Mm-hmm. They're not bad people. Yeah. Everybody just made bad choices, right? And then you got these people that are straight sharks.
Yep.
I've dealt with a couple of those as well, where they are out there to take advantage of people, and so I've learned those are some of the learning lessons that hopefully people get out of this today. But probably the very first one, so that Tucanos one, these guys were smart. Like I knew they were smart. They had a great thing going, and they did several very successful restaurant chains that ended up getting sold off. And $25,000 to me back then was all I had. Like, I was a fairly successful sales guy, making right around 6 figures. Most sales guys don't save up $25,000 a year in a 6-figure job. Like they blow it all, right? Yeah. So this was all I had. And these guys, they showed me the plan, and I was young and naive still at this time, but that one actually worked out. Yeah. So still to this day, like 15 years later, I'm getting paid from that investment. It's dwindled a lot, but still $2-3 a year. It's all profit, right? Yeah. We made our money back in the first 4 years, and then here we are 11 years later, still paying me $2-3 a year,
So, I mean, it's not nothing crazy, but I mean, it worked out, and you've got to have some of those, I guess you would call little drip incomes where you can maybe make $5 or $10 a year just off of something that's 15 years old or 10 years old or whatever it is. But what was maybe a second investment that you did? The first one obviously worked out to your advantage, but
second investment. So, Jeremy and I owned a Forex education company. It was the very first company that we owned. Forex was a hot thing. He wrote a whole course. Customers were making money. We were making money. Everything was going great. Yeah. We needed more leads. Yeah. And these guys came to us, and they were, lead wizards, and they knew how to build these funnels. And dude, even this is 12 years ago. Yeah. 11, 12 years ago. So funnels were different then than they were now. Like we didn't have social media like we have now. But
or funnel templates.
Yeah. So a lot of it was email traffic and Google, which is super expensive. And so, and these guys weren't bad guys. They weren't out to take advantage of us. They had a model that it worked for what they were selling. They ended up wanting to build a funnel with our Forex education where, basically you got something for free, but you had to pay the shipping, but then you enrolled into like an auto learning course for like a monthly fee. And what happened was we dumped about $50,000-$60,000 into this over the course of 4 or 5 months before we finally pulled the plug on it, because by the time your offer gets up to the point where you're really getting the traffic and finding out like the conversion on the back end and why it's so low, and then you start doing things like calling the customers to figure it out, it's like, man, people were telling us like, oh, I just did that to get the free, toaster or blender or the gift card, or, it was incentivized traffic. Or a lot of people were like, oh no, man, I found this thing online. It told me to go fill out these offers and they would pay me so much per offer. So they were like literally finding these college kids to just go and like sign up for things and then cancel them right away to get paid, but then they were charging us per conversion, right? So we were the ones getting screwed. And so we got, we brokered this offer through some bad traffic sources and publishing houses or, whatever. They call them pubs or whatever. So I don't know, man, like the guys that we partnered with on it, they didn't do it intentionally, but they brokered our offer out to some pretty shady traffic guys out there in the internet world. So, we lost all that money, man.
And there's plenty of those.
Yeah, and we were cash flowing, but we thought, oh, this is going to be a great way for us to, expand and grow our business, and it turned out to be about a $50,000-$60,000 learning lesson. So,
gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, the reality is again, we're going to go through a bunch of different things we've done that haven't worked, and as we've alluded to already, it's every single time we do this, we get smarter. So we kick up another offer, we're going to be far smarter in regards to the publishers that you use in terms of pushing traffic, and you're going to vet them, and you're going to want maybe some people that they've done business with. And
it's like you said, process elimination. We know now because we still have offers online. We still have things that we do online for our businesses, the counting, whatever, right? Yeah. And it's like we know guys now that we've done business with for a long time. We know guys' reputations, whether they are guys to do shitty, like, incentivized bad bunk traffic, not quality traffic, or if they're guys that have historically given us good traffic. So we had to go through some bumps to make some of these connections with the guys that do real honest business, you know? And so unfortunately that happens a lot.
Yeah. And so one of the first investments, that I made with Kel and Jeremy, the partners that we have now, we also have JD in regards as a partner to Easier Accounting, but before him, we invested into a trucking company.
Oh, yeah.
You remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That didn't work out so well. We gave a guy $21,000. He gave us the title to his truck.
Yeah.
Right?
But what he presented to us was all the contracts he had just landed for all these shipping deals. And he's like, I just don't have the money to
get into the truck.
Yeah, I've got the contracts.
The contract.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if those were bunk contracts still to this day. I mean, it kind of seems like it with how everything turned out. Let's just put it this way. So we were going to own, I think, 33% or a third of the company. And it was structured as a loan. So the company would have to pay back the $21,000 in the form of monthly payments. I think it was like $1,000 a month or something like that for 21 months or 24 months, so that we could earn a little bit of interest there. But then we would share in obviously the dividends, or own a little bit of equity with inside of the trucking company. That's why we didn't want a whole lot of interest in terms of the loan payback. And this individual, again, as Kel stated, sent us contracts and sent us things, and basically stating that there's tons of money to be made in the industry. He just needs to be up and running. And we were the money side of it to help him kind of get it up and running. And how it went down is the first month kind of came and went, and I would be calling him, and he'd say, everything's going good. I'm picking up a load. I'm doing this, I'm that. And the first check didn't even show up.
Yeah.
So I started kind of tracking him down. He's like, oh, yeah, I put it in the mail. It's on the way. Kept checking the mail. Weeks later, still didn't show up. Call him and be like, "Oh, I'll resend that." So he's just kind of buying time, right? And one time when I called, his mom answered the phone. It was going to be his admin lady,
and he was an older guy.
Yeah, he was an older guy. Yeah. I mean, he was probably.
So I don't know 50. If he was living with his mom or his mom was living with him.
I mean, he was probably like 45, 50, something like that. His mom was probably 65, 70, somewhere around there. And so she was kind of doing some of the admin stuff for the trucking company. And I called and I got a hold of her, and I was kind of playing dumb a little bit and just saying, oh, how's everything going? Is there money in the account? All this stuff. She's like, yeah, it's going great. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like that's a good sign. And then she goes on to say, yeah, we've got like $300 and something in the account. And I'm like, wait a minute, like you owe us a payment, like you don't even have enough to cover the payment. And anyways, we found out within the first, 2 or 3 months that didn't pan out. We ended up finding the truck in a mechanic yard. With a $5,000 or $6,000 mechanic bill, and the guy just left it there because we have the title to it. So he didn't care. He didn't have to pay the mechanic bill because he didn't own the truck. Yeah. He kind of just walked away from the business. And so by the time we tracked the truck down, there's a bill now left on it. I think we ended up getting a check from that guy for like $2,000. Yeah. He's like, the truck's not really worth that much. Yeah. He must have lied to you and told you that it had a great engine and transmission, which he did. Oh, it's got this transmission, this Caterpillar engine, and all this stuff. And come to find out, it's sitting in a mechanic yard for probably the last month when we were trying to track him down. And so we negotiated with the mechanic just to have him send a couple $1,000 to us, and we mailed him the title. And so.
Yeah, chop it up as a loss. But, we thought we were being really smart because we did the math on the contracts. the truck valued at around what he said it did, but we don't know what condition it was in.
Yeah. He sent us a picture of it and stuff,
yeah,
but
even though
you
we
can't tell what's on the inside, you know, the engine and all that.
But we thought we were being smart. We thought we were getting our money collateralized by getting the actual title and, you know, doing the math on the contracts and understanding, like, you know, what our return was going to be. So here we are thinking we're being smart, right, on paper. And at the end of the day, it was...
What we probably should have done is we should have reached out to some of those contracts.
Yeah.
And verified that there was contracts that needed to be filled and that they were in need of trucking companies.
Yeah. We should have done extra due diligence.
We should have.
Shouldn't have just been excited about the returns that we were seeing on paper.
You know, basically owning equity in another company that we didn't have to do a whole lot for except for fund.
Yeah.
But we were also going to get our money back anyways, right?
Yeah.
And so that was a big learning lesson for us. You know, I know that you, at one point prior to me having ownership, you guys invested into Kava Kona or whatever it was, or a Kava company, or you know, and funded that. I don't know how much you guys funded it with though.
It was like 25 grand or something like that. Well, I mean, we were into some things before that. So, you know, I feel like the learning lesson here is sometimes just because you're into something doesn't mean it's going to be a great business. Like Jeremy had made a lot of friends in the Polynesian culture. Yeah. They all drink kava. Yeah. And it is fun to get together and drink kava with these guys. They're all great guys, you know.
A bunch of laughs
fun,
and everybody's...
And the kava's like, you know, not harmful, but it relaxes you. It gets everyone kind of chill, and you know, it was fun. And so, and there started becoming like this kind of kava culture in our community around here. And so guys kept running out of it. And they kept coming to Jeremy because Jeremy has some money, you know, like a lot of these guys didn't have money. It's just like, you know, it's like a guy, you know, scraping up money to go buy his cigarettes for the day. Like they're trying to scrape up some money to go buy their kava for the day, you know, or the evening because they do it at night. But yeah, it's just because you're into that, you know, doesn't mean it's going to be a great business, right? So, but anyway, these guys kept coming to Jeremy to front him some money for kava. And then he just started thinking, well, dude, why don't I just like
fund it, start a business.
Just buy a crap ton of kava, basically, and be a kava dealer. Yeah. It's funny. He actually had the cops called on him as a drug dealer because like, his neighbors and stuff kept seeing cars coming and going, handing off cash, taking bags of kava. It's kind of funny. But yeah, man, I mean, one connection with a friend that he had was like, yeah, man, I'm connected to the farms clear back in Tonga. And, you know, like we can get a shipment of all this kava sent over here to us. It's going to take a few weeks. It's going to be on a container. The minimum order is like 20-something thousand bucks. I can't even remember the exact number. It was 20-something thousand. But yeah, you know, it showed up about a month later. We drew. I
remember those bags, those huge bags showing up to the office.
Yeah,
they were heavy as shit too.
Like bigger than potato sacks, right? Like twice the size of potato sack. It's just full of kava powder. But we had to drive up to Salt Lake to get the shipment. Came into LA, and then it was flown from LA to Salt Lake. We drove up to Salt Lake and got it. Drove it back. Literally, like the car was like almost bottoming out coming down the freeway.
That's how much it weighed.
Yeah, because we just had tons of this stuff in the trunk of a car.
Looking like drug dealers, basically. You know.
But yeah, man. Like after months and months went by, like not only were these guys selling the kava that Jeremy knew, they weren't reporting all the funds, but they were also drinking it and having fun on it.
Drinking the profits away. You know, they're getting high on their own supply. So
when that got confronted, the guy that was the hookup that got the kava, he ended up moving it all into a different storage unit and locking it up. Sold it all off behind our backs. And we had no contracts or agreements. I mean, this isn't like some product that you can really track or whatever, you know? So, we did a lot of things on trust and friendship. And, we thought that there was like a market for it, which there was a market for it. But it wasn't a very awesome experience.
I just don't think it was treated probably as a business because I mean, Jeremy got the nickname Cobfather. Yeah. Right?
The white Cobfather.
Yeah, exactly. So everybody would hang out with Jeremy, and he had so much of it that, it was just mixing kava all the time, and so basically drinking profits away and hooking friends up for free. Here's this, pay me later. And then payments would never come in. And
we even went and got like these nice professional bags that were like screen printed, and they had the Ziplocs at the top, like something you would buy in a store. And we would spend hours weighing and getting
measuring
a
it,
certain amount of ounces together for a $10 bag or whatever. And we did it. We tried to do that all professionally, but man, you know what? Like, the biggest learning lesson was that, and I'm not going to sit here and say that guy was like a bad guy. I still see him around town. I like him as a person, but dude, he was dishonest in the end, probably because he needed the money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. He was in a situation, where he was desperate. And you know, the learning lesson on this is like, man, just because they're your friend and you trust them doesn't mean it's going to go well. Yeah. And even if it is your friend, and even if you do trust them, it's usually wise to have things written out. Yeah. Contracts signed, operating agreements fine-tuned. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, if someone gets desperate, they're not...
Everybody's point of view is different. Somebody might be doing something they don't even think that, to them, in their eyes, it's not even bad.
I don't know to this day how he justifies what he did. Yeah. Like, you would think that he thinks... Yeah, I was dishonest. I moved all the product to a different storage unit and then ended communication with you guys. Moved all the money out of the account into my account. Like, but I don't know how he justifies it in his mind, man. Maybe he thinks he has a reason. Yeah, I don't know.
Who knows?
Yeah.
So far, failed on a trucking company, failed in a kava business. And again, guys, kava's just a root. It's kind of grinded up, and people put it in water and they drink it, right? It basically tastes like muddy water, but it's supposed to have a calming and relaxing effect on you. It's not illegal or anything like that. And again, it's big in more of the Polynesian type culture. And so moving on to the next one, 4 Laws Financial.
Yeah.
I thought that was going to be our retirement, dude. I thought we were going to get rich. Oh, yeah.
I lost faith in that real quick, but I didn't. Did? Yeah, I didn't want to. I didn't want to be the guy.
You don't want to be. I didn't want to be the guy.
I don't want to come in and be like, dude, this is.
Somebody's excited about it. You're like, no, dude, that's shitty.
I was excited about it for a minute.
Yeah.
I lost faith in that guy real quick, but I didn't want to be the guy holding the project back by being negative or whatever. So I kind of was just like, I don't know. And then there was that other dude that was like, well, wanted to kind of squeeze me out, which we were the ones putting up all the money. Oh, yeah. Remember the Nick dude? Yeah. So I was like, I wasn't vibing that whole thing. But I knew you were like, dude, there's potential here, and there probably was.
Yeah, there was. I mean, there for sure was. That's why we started investing money. Guys, 4 Laws Financial was going to be a company helping people with their finances, almost kind of like breaking it down, helping people get out of debt. And we were going to have coaches calling people, once a week, and then kind of move it back to once a month, holding them accountable on some of their finances. And so we were going to take a look at what their current income was, what their debts were, credit card debt, mortgage, car payments, how much they have in savings, what they're trying to save. And our goal was to work with these individuals and charge them, I think, was it $5,000? Something like that.
There was a couple of different packages.
But we were going to do it in a monthly payment plan to where our goal was to save them more money than what they're paying us each month. Yeah. I think it was like, I don't remember exactly what it was going to be like $200 a month for 24. I don't remember exactly what the finance plan was. Some people could pay for it up front, put it on a credit card or whatever if they had 0% interest. But if they didn't, we didn't want them to put it on a credit card, so we would finance it for them. And if we're saving them $400 a month by looking at their finances and helping them, cut some costs or whatever it is, that covers the $200 a month that we were going to be charging them for the course or the program. And then they would have a lot of accountability. And there was a software, there was a portal where you could enter the information.
The software had an algorithm built into it to where if people would make these principal payments versus interest payments, as well as some other techniques as well, basically got them out of debt 10 times quicker.
Yeah.
Right?
So like for instance, you could put an extra $100 a month on a credit card, and it would let you know how quickly you could pay off that card. And then you could take that $100, put it back in there, and say, maybe I want to put that extra $100 towards my car payment.
Right.
And it'll show you how quickly your car payment would be paid off. And so we would analyze, the interest that you're paying on credit cards and on vehicles or, whatever it is, and try to figure out where that money is best allocated and kind of work with them and break down their finances. And it was all centered around a book.
Stephen Covey.
It was a foreword by Stephen Covey. I don't remember exactly who wrote it. But we drove up to Salt Lake. We met those people. We signed that contract with them. We ordered a bunch of books and training courses. We were so focused on the fulfillment side of it and making sure that we had the coaching and the systems and the processes in place. Once we started getting customers, we had it a little backwards though. Right. And so what we should have ultimately done is we should have probably kicked up a couple marketing campaigns, tested anywhere from $2,000 to $5,000, seeing if we could get leads or get customers even showing interest.
Yeah, figure out our audience, figure out the cost per click, the cost per conversion. We didn't do any of that.
We
built a whole back end before we even knew if the front end worked.
But we were so confident that it was going, or I was anyways, that it was going to work and help so many people that it was, we were blind, or I was anyways, blinded a little bit about, one, the potential of money that we could make and the potential of being able to do that while helping a lot of people. And we were probably $25,000 to $30,000 deep into that in terms of, traveling up there to meet those people.
All the packets we pre-ordered.
Packets, the
those
books.
Like shell, what were they called, those shells?
I forgot.
They had like the tapes and all that stuff in them.
Yeah,
I guess not tapes, but CDs and software downloads and clamshells.
Is that what they're called?
Yeah.
Yeah,
the little clamshells with all the books and tapes.
Yeah, it's like a plastic shell thing, and you open it up, and it has CDs and pamphlets.
We pre-ordered
and things.
hundreds of them.
Yeah, we had stacks of them sitting in the office, and then so we're like, okay, we're ready to go. We fine-tune the fulfillment side. We kick up a marketing campaign, and I started calling the leads.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not really I'm not interested. And I don't even remember who was running the marketing campaign for that.
Was it us?
No, I don't think it was us. Okay. It was one of the guys that was doing some of the pay-per-click stuff. It might have been the dude that was in California that you and Jeremy met. The pay-per-click dude that did a great job for us. I forgot what his name was.
He's a good dude. Actually did really good work.
Yeah, he did a good job. So we had a lot of confidence in him and his ability to be able to, put a campaign together that would bring us the leads that we needed to, make the business work. But we start putting some money into this marketing thing, and I'm calling these leads, and they're not responding at all in the way that I thought that they would respond. So we started testing the marketing campaign after we blew through, $25,000, $30,000 and realized we've just built an entire company and a back end and fulfillment process that would have been awesome. We even had Gunny reading the book, and we were gonna peel him off from one of our other companies.
Dude. I think I saw
he was gonna be our coach.
Follows our podcast. So what up, Gunther?
Hey, Gunny, if you're listening, man, hope you're doing well, dude. Hope you're doing awesome.
He's a good guy.
Yeah, he's. I can't say enough good things about him, so I hope I bump into him here and there. I maybe need to send him a message and just say what's up. But so again, now we've got a failed trucking company, Kava failed, 4 Laws Financial failed,
the Forex failed,
the Forex offer failed. A previous partner that Kel and Jeremy had, they had invested into, buying a building. I think that you guys put like $50,000 down. I remember hearing something like that.
Oh, I forgot all about that until we talked about that the other day.
Yeah, it was something like that. And you had to come up with the rest of the money or finish the loan by a certain time. And then that partnership kind of fizzled out. And so nobody wanted to finish and close on that deal.
Well, it was basically earnest money. We were so confident we were going to get the loan for the building. Everything was going to go through. They required, because it was a commercial deal. Yeah. So they required $50,000. It's not like buying a house where they only want like $500 or $5,000 earnest money, right? It's non-refundable money. Yeah. We put up 50 G's, man, on this building, and we didn't get our stuff done in time, so they took our $50,000.
I think it just didn't happen because of the partnership, though. It was starting to go through.
Honestly a blessing, probably.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I would not want to be tied to that. So
at the end of the day, both parties are still doing good. He's doing good. You're doing good.
Yeah.
So, Career Strong.
Oh yeah.
Remember that?
Did we put a lot of money into that?
It wasn't much. It was like $15,000.
It was just,
It was like $15,000.
I'd probably say a learning lesson like that is just like, taking time away from your real baby to try and do some of these other things that you're really not an expert in. You know what I mean? Like, not only did we waste some money, but we probably wasted some time and some focus from our things that we're really good at. Yeah. The things that we really do excel at.
I agree.
Yeah.
So yeah, Career Strong, guys, was kind of the same concept as you like a, what was it, Career Builder or something like that, where somebody can
Job
go
Finder.
Job Finder. You know, it was going to be a competitor against some of those companies that help high income earners or people who want to be in high income earner find high income type jobs.
Yeah,
and again,
and for companies to find high producing CEOs and
just great employees, right? People that will ultimately come in and bring value to their business. And so again, that was going to be a great business. There's obviously some big companies out there already making money doing it, and we've never really been scared about competing against big companies. We're very confident in what we bring to the table as individuals in terms of our experience, our sales ability, building staffs around things and fulfillment. That's what we do, and that's our strong point. And so Career Strong, and again, we were gonna do that with somebody outside of our partnership, and we were gonna kind of join forces, right?
The problem there, because he does a lot of great business, and we still do business to this day. But the problem is he's busy with his business. We're busy with our business. Yeah. So this thing never really got the focus that it should have got. And we weren't able to put the time into it, and it was taking time away from our other thing. And it was just an area that we're not experts in, man. Yeah. Like we were never great at, job finding. We were always kind of entrepreneurial,
Exactly.
It'd be like me starting a dating site right now. I've been married most of my life. Yeah. So I'm not very good at dating. I shouldn't own a dating site.
I ain't trying to compete against Tinder or Plenty of Fish or whatever the hell else is out there right now. I don't even know all of the apps.
But the youngsters
have
that market.
Yeah. Man, if that was around, though, when we were young, it could have been some trouble. So
no kidding.
I'm glad it wasn't around, to be quite honest with you. MySpace was enough. To kick up.
The game was harder in our day.
Yeah. We had to really earn a date, not swipe right or left or whatever the hell you do these days. But Career Strong, it was a great concept, great idea. A couple people, us and the guy that we were going to do it with, just busy, as Kel said. And it just didn't get the attention that it needed to ever take off. And then when you start trying to do business outside of maybe your current partners, there's a little bit of a disconnect, right? Like he's operating his business and we're trying to communicate with him and he's trying to communicate with us. And it's like, okay, who's going to build the website? Yeah. Who's going to do this? Who, and trying to delegate who's doing what, right? And, again, that was... Again, everything that we've ever done, you go into it with so much excitement, right? Like none of these things.
This is a no-brainer.
Yeah, none of these things we thought was a horrible idea, or else we wouldn't be putting, $50,000 down on a building, or $21,000 on a trucking company, $30,000 on 4 Laws, $15,000 on Career Strong, Kava Kona, and funnels. All of those things. And so this leads me to one of our biggest L's. Which one is that, dude? Which one's the big L? The recent big L.
The recent one?
The recent one, dude. The big dagger that hurts still to this day.
The Nutra game.
Yeah. Guys, sometimes when you're trying to have your money make you money, you get blinded by the potential.
Well, we know so many people making hand over fist money.
Oh yeah.
And we're so connected with them. We thought,
no brainer.
No one's gonna take advantage of us.
Yeah, we can throw a couple $100 G's at it,
a bunch of friends,
and be fine. Didn't work out that way. We kind of thought it was an opportunity to have our money make us money, but it ended up being far more hands-on than what we thought. And so again, that's a naive thing to think, to where you can just put money and build a business and it's just going to kind of operate, because we were planning on outsourcing a lot of things, right? So instead of having our own customer support in-house, there's customer support companies out there. You can outsource that. You can outsource fulfillment to ship bottles, labels. What else were we outsourcing? There's a ton of
customer service.
That's what I was just saying. There was customer service. There was fulfillment. What other
CRM services?
Oh yeah, CRM. So
tracking,
we didn't have to
the traffic.
Yeah, the traffic sources. All of that. So what we were going to do is basically, we put $225,000 into this business It was a little over a year ago.
Yeah.
A little over a year ago. I think we
guys are like, don't even come into the game unless you got a couple $100,000.
Yep. And so we're like, cool, we can do that.
Yeah.
Again, blinded by the opportunity in terms of having our money make us money. And so we didn't look at all the moving parts and some of the things that could go wrong. And somebody's advising, hey, you should do it this way. Another person's saying you should do it this way. The other person's like, they don't know what they're talking about. I mean, everybody says that they know the right way of doing things. And then at that point, you got to kind of pick and choose who you're going to trust, right?
Yeah.
And we had campaign managers.
Yeah,
that we outsourced that was going to kind of help us manage the campaign and help that offer, ultimately
They're paying them
succeed.
to help us do it right.
Yeah.
And I think that was the biggest dagger in my opinion, dude, is once we figured out the dishonesty of this entire industry, we couldn't stand behind it anymore. So we had to shut it down.
Yep.
Like these guys were literally removing terms and conditions and not, just to get higher conversions. They were like removing
it was free plus shipping, right? But we thought all of the terms and conditions were very laid out that they would end up getting billed, and we found out that this game, there's some things that have to be hidden and this, that, the other, and it didn't feel good.
I think we could have made money with that whole thing.
If we stuck it out, we could have. But at the end of the day, there's certain things that money's not worth it, right? Like some of the headaches that we were dealing with. I mean, I was on Skype all day, every day.
We're busier and busier every year with what we got going.
Absolutely.
And we love opportunities for our money to make more money. But at the end of the day, like, one, we can't stand behind something we don't believe in. Once we found out the dishonesty, we're like, okay, we're out. Two, had we taken the time to figure out how to create our own traffic relationships and not have campaign managers and all this stuff and putting trust in other people versus taking control ourselves, I think we could definitely figure that game out and make money at it and do it right and do it honest. But at the end of the day,
that takes a lot of time to be able to. It's a bigger commitment than what we originally thought, right? And so it's like, what do we do? Stay in this industry, in this game that we don't necessarily want to play in, just to try to recoup, a couple $100,000, or do we just walk away from a couple $100,000 and live and learn? Right. And so what we did, guys, is we turned a negative into a positive. Right now, I'm out $75,000 cash that I put into it. Kel's out 75. Jared's out 75. We put $225,000 into it. We'll be lucky if we see $60,000 back from it, so that we each get $20,000 back. But that's going to be a $55,000 loss for each one of us by the time we get some of the money back. But that offer shut down. And that's a segue into sometimes you fail your way into a new opportunity, right? Like we know that there's money to be made in kind of that game. And so there's just a better way to do it. So there's what's called straight sell, and then there's what's called trial. The trial's a little bit, shadier than what we wanted to do.
It's kind of like the gunslinging side of the industry. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's where the renegades are running, I guess.
Yeah, it's all good, dude. There's people making a lot of money, and if that's what they want to do, then that's on them. But we are transitioning. We just invested another $60,000 into the same industry. But doing what's called a straight sell. Yep. So everybody that's buying something, they have to just buy it up front. There's no trial, nothing hit. Yeah, exactly.
No removed terms.
And we should be able to make good money. We've spoke with a few
new traffic sources now. We know who's honest, who's not honest, and we will. We'll make great money with this, and I think we'll bounce back with some of our losses from that because of the learning lessons.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's one of those things that, I know we'll succeed with it because we're not going to give up on it. We're just going to do it right now.
Yeah.
We've learned. Yeah. Lesson learned. Now we're going to do it right.
Yeah. And I don't think a lot of people are willing to do that. Once somebody sees something not work and they've lost, a couple $100,000 so far, again, in hopes of, a little bit of money coming back, we'll see. But again, I invested personally into that with the understanding, I'm like, okay, I'm writing this $75,000 off. Yeah. Like I don't.
We didn't risk what we couldn't afford to lose.
Exactly.
And we talked about that up front.
Yeah.
Because we knew there was a risk.
Yeah, we did. And I think that you guys need to do a good job of, not get so emotionally tied to money in an investment because more things don't work out than do. If you invest into 10 different things, you're going to be lucky if 2 work out or 3 work out. Hell, if even only 1 works out, right?
Yeah.
And so
even on your own business, if you're just starting though, like you're going to run into trials. People are going to take advantage of you. Like, you know, Stuman says the force of average is always going to be trying to pull you back. Yeah. But like if you're going to let those roadblocks,
setbacks
turn you around, and now you head backwards. I mean, you're never gonna win.
You got one thing out of the way.
To push through.
Look at it like that.
Yeah.
You now are smarter. You know you won't make that same mistake again.
Yeah.
And if you're not going to make that same mistake again, move on to the next thing with enthusiasm. Don't be, again, heavily emotionally tied to the money that you have invested into it. Be willing to lose money in order to find out what works.
Yeah.
Like that's just the reality of it.
If you can do it without losing money, great. But just if you lose money, don't let it stop you.
Yeah.
Right? Like it does happen. There are sharks out there, and I think it's important too to like spend a little more time. Don't let people pressure you into things super fast. Like vet your people. Like we've got other investments with people that we know are stand-up people.
Yep.
We know that it's a more long-term investment, but we also know that we have great people working in a model that they are experts in, and our joint venture there will work out. It's already working.
Yeah.
I see sales there every day, several sales. But they're great people. They're stand-up people, and they have an operation, and that's what their expertise is in. And they're already successful on their side with it. And so we've got great investments. But, yeah, we've had a lot of failures to find the right ones.
I mean, look at it like this. Like, for instance, if you guys put a Facebook ad out there for your business and it flops, that doesn't mean that you can't get traffic on Facebook. That doesn't mean that marketing in general on Facebook doesn't work.
Yeah.
That just means that you set up those ads wrong, or something needs to be adjusted or changed. I'm a firm believer in always testing new things and trying new things. And so if you can, whether it's a marketing strategy for your business, go into it, with a couple $1,000s or whatever it is that you're willing to test.
What can I afford to lose to figure this out now? Because and that's the other thing is don't sit there and try and get it to be perfect either. I mean, so many people are like, I gotta build my funnel or my advertisements like just right.
Ad has to be amazing.
It has to be perfect before I launch it. It's like you don't even know, man. Like sometimes people convert better on what's not perfect.
Dude, I was just gonna say that.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say so many people are worried about a perfect video or a perfect photo, the perfect headline. Just so that you guys know, you can always adjust the headline. You could always adjust your offer. And when I set out to try to figure out, Facebook and Instagram and all that, I was excited, enthusiastic, and thinking that I could figure it out pretty quick. It took me a year and $30,000, but we figured it out. And the knowledge that I gained by doing those things is what I'm investing in on the Real Business Owners account on Instagram. And so without that $30,000 loss in terms of figuring out how these ads work and what's going to perform the best for us, we wouldn't even have Real Business Owners.
Yeah.
Right? We wouldn't even have the podcast that we're on.
Yeah.
So I failed, and all of these different ad settings until I figured out the proper age, the proper demographic. Should it be male? Should it be female? What their hobbies are, what their interests are.
Yeah, what color.
Like all of that stuff matters.
Color schemes.
Yeah. Like you can literally put up one ad and have 3 different colors.
Yeah.
Right? And it's the same ad.
Yeah.
One will outperform the other 2, guaranteed.
One that sees your face up close will convert better than
Absolutely.
like your face far away or
just more intimate.
Yeah, the starting point of the ad that doesn't have a face on it at all. Like there's a lot of different.
So many things
depending
that
on
you
your
have to
audience
just
and
test.
what your niche is and what you're marketing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
So guys, you and the whole point of the podcast is to help you guys understand that. Losing money or failing is not necessarily a bad thing. Again, you get that out of the way and then you move on to the next opportunity or the next test or the next thing that you're ultimately going to do for your business, because it's not the fact that if you're trying to figure out the marketing side that marketing won't work for your business. It's trying to find out what form of marketing works for your business.
Yeah.
And there's so many different forms of marketing that you might go through 5 different things that don't ultimately work and you lose 10 grand.
Yeah.
But if you find the one that does and you triple or quadruple down on that one ad or whatever it is, right? It makes up for those five losses that you took and some, and now your business is ultimately thriving. So you will have to fall on your face over and over in order to understand what doesn't work, but you're falling forward, right? Into the next opportunity or the next thing that you're one step closer to what will work.
There is no luck without failure and hard work. I just really believe that. Like, so many people see, like, oh, that guy got lucky. Whatever. Maybe they think he just threw together an ad or a funnel and it worked the very first time. And sometimes if someone puts together an ad or a funnel, and sometimes it does work the first time, but they don't see all the failure that person went through to get the knowledge in order to get that ad that did work the first time. Or sometimes someone goes through 50 different funnels and ads or whatever before they figure out what actually works to build, their business behind. But man, like there's very, 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 very few overnight successes. And so many times, like, people think that they think, oh, he just got lucky. Like, I mean, I read a story the other day about one of the guy that came out with the e-cigarettes at first and how he just basically, they just made it look like he just was this overnight success. They have no idea what that guy went through before he actually
He was
popped.
probably called an idiot a billion times, like an e-cigarette. Why the hell would
probably
you?
Probably had 100 failures like us before he actually had something that
was
blew up for him.
That was actually functioning. Like somebody had to test all that and figure out how to make it work. How do I put nicotine in this and in a juice and then has all that stuff. That's just business in general. If you guys are listening to this in business, you guys understand exactly what we're talking about, because I guarantee you've cut a check for something for marketing or cut a check for something for fulfillment. And somebody doesn't come through, right?
You've been burned.
Everybody's
had
been
bad
burned.
Partnerships.
If you're trying to be successful, you've been burned.
Exactly.
There's no possible way that you're literally the first thing that you cut a check for is just immediately making money. Just if it was that easy, then everyone would just be cutting checks.
Exactly.
It's just it is high risk, right? But it's high reward as well. Because of all the failures that we've had, we're able to take vacations and go to Costa Rica or go to New York or go to Mexico or California and do a lot of the fun stuff that we do. But we would never be able to do all of those things if we didn't have all those failures previous.
So true.
Right? And so I just think that people need to adjust just what they think failure is.
Right.
If you really put failure in the term of a learning lesson or a learning opportunity, you're just getting more efficient. You're getting smarter every single time you fall on your face, because you're not going to make that same mistake again.
Yeah.
So when you finally 5 years in have gone through all the process of elimination on all the things that don't work, you're going to end up being very successful. That's like saying somebody that's trying to dig for gold puts the shovel in the ground and turns over the dirt and there's gold. It's just not going to happen, right? It's a lot of it's guesswork, and then there's a little bit of science to trying to figure out. Everyone. I used to watch that Gold Rush show, and you see machines breaking down.
Oh, dude.
They're digging big holes. There's no gold there.
Into the pit.
It's like, dude, it's problem after problem, issue after issue, and then when they find that little teeny speckle, you're like, everyone's cheering. Like, you're cheering for that thing,
for this half mason jar full of gold.
Yeah, exactly. the little gold flakes, but if you watch some of those shows, you're watching them go through frustration after frustration, problem after problem, and all they're doing is just addressing the problem, addressing it, failure after failure, and they don't lose enthusiasm. They're still just on that chase to find that big hit, and that's what it's all about, guys. Just continue to stay the course, continue to chase that goal or that dream that you had, because it's there.
Yeah.
But it's hidden behind a bunch of bumpy ass roads. It's hidden behind a steep hill.
Especially if you're passionate about what you're doing, like you're gonna have a lot of people trying to derail you. You're gonna have a lot of people trying to hold you back, talk crap, hate on you, family, loved ones, very close friends. Like, people aren't gonna believe in you. But the whole point is, like, if you're passionate about what you're doing, like, see it through. Like, some of these investments that we failed at, we probably could have made it work, but we weren't passionate about them. We figured out, like, this isn't for us, so we had to go different directions. But we've always learned from those mistakes. We've always learned from those failures, and has led us into the directions that we do become more passionate about. And we've had a lot of great successes as well. And we can name off 20 failures today. I think we named off 10 or so.
At least, yeah.
And I know
there's probably 10 more. Yeah,
but man, the 5 things that we're pretty successful at right now are pretty.
Yeah.
We're pretty.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about something like, again, talking about failures. That's something that everybody can relate to, and that's why I wanted to discuss the topic today, because struggles is something that everybody has to deal with inside your life.
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not, that's just life in general. So everybody can relate to failure or struggle. Not everybody can relate to success because they haven't felt it, seen it, touched it, lived it, right? And so that's why I wanted to talk about the failures, so that you guys understand that we're just not everything that we touch turns into gold, right? That it's just everything that we touch that we have passion for. We're relentless.
That we fully believe in.
We'll continue to put money into it, time into it, invest into it until it shows its real value, because we know for a fact that there is value in it, and we will not stop at anything to get what we're trying to get, right? And it's the same thing with easier accounting, guys. We're not accountants or CPAs, and we're going up against large companies, people that are accountants and CPAs. I guarantee you, when people first heard that we were starting an accounting company, Easier Accounting, and we're going to compete against CPAs and accountants, there was probably a billion naysayers behind the scenes, like, oh my God.
I still get the look, man.
Yeah, dude, at events or whatever.
Like, he's like, you guys own are you a CPA? You guys own a firm? Are you a CPA? No, we're not CPAs. But we're passionate about helping business owners.
We're passionate.
Yeah, I'm not passionate about doing your tax return. I'm passionate about helping you get the planning, advising, the
we hire the people that are passionate about the tax
building
returns.
Building my team to help you keep the money that you make. Like, I'm passionate about helping business owners, and that's honestly kind of been the separator for us.
It really has. It's one thing being educated in accounting and being able to be the fulfillment side of it. And it's another thing to be a business owner and understand, where we saw things were lacking in the industry. And when you're an entrepreneur and you start business after business, when you see gaps in an industry or you see holes somewhere, the only thing that starts happening in your mind is you start trying to think, like, I can do this. I can figure this out. I can clean this up.
Yeah.
And
solve
guys,
the problem.
And solve the problem with inside of the industry. And if you can ultimately solve a problem for yourself,
you can solve it for others.
You could solve it for others, and that ultimately turns into a business. Another failure. What about the bridge loan thing? I mean, that didn't really fall on its face because we made a little bit of money doing it, but it just didn't take off like we thought it would, where we were borrowing people money so that they could get loans, right?
We could still be doing that if we wanted to.
But again, it's
our
just
time is better
consuming.
focused where it's really helping business owners where we are really good at it.
Yeah.
Like, even real business owners, man.
Yeah.
Like, we started this because we're like, man, we want to help business owners.
Yeah.
At the end of the day,
we understand how hard it is, man. It's not easy to operate a business. This business game is ruthless.
We don't get paid for this.
No.
The money will come.
Yeah.
But we don't get paid for this. It's like so fulfilling though when someone's like needs our advice and we give them advice and it works because of our experiences and our failures. We can now
streamline
not
other
only make
people's
money
success
and be successful in the things that we have now, but we can also help other people. That's seriously more rewarding than the paycheck.
You should do things for 2 reasons. Okay. And the 2 reasons should either be making a positive impact, because if you know you're making a positive impact, that will ultimately fuel you through some of the hard times and some of the struggles. And the second reason is for money, right? I mean, those are the only 2 reasons why people do anything, is either for money or impact, right? Like, if I don't want to get off the couch and go play catch with my son or whatever, or throw him a baseball, I don't get up because it's going to make me money. I just know it's going to have a positive impact on him. You know what I mean? And I should be doing that, right? I know that this community will continue to grow and build. And based upon the messages that we've received so far, we will not quit. We will not stop. We will not give up until our name is up with the big players of the game. And I guarantee you within the next 2 years that will happen because of the passion that we have behind real business owners and the impact that we know we can make on the business community out there. And I didn't think that it would take off like it is. I knew that we could make an impact, but God, it's just exploding, and it's been super, super rewarding. in an impactful type of way, not financial.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, we're making no money at it.
Yeah, we're not making money.
It's successful because it's rewarding to us right now. But even this is not an overnight success, man. Like all these failures we talk about today are what have given us our experience to be able to even help business owners, man. Like, and that's now what we're finding out we're more and more passionate about, you know? And so, you know, like this isn't an overnight success. Just because our community is growing fast, they don't see like all the failures we've gone through in order to actually give this type of advice to people and help them get to their success faster without going through the trial and error that guys like us went through. And we didn't have that, man. We didn't have guys on podcasts. If they were, we weren't doing, like, we didn't know about them. Like, it just wasn't there.
10 years ago, I mean, maybe it did exist, 7, but it 8. Wasn't like it is now.
Yeah.
You know, social media isn't like it where there's totally 8,000 gurus now, you know, every time you know, open Facebook or Instagram. That brings me to a quick point, guys. I would highly suggest you guys to audit who you follow. And I would start targeting, let's say, 4 or 5 people that you really admire or look up to or have the success that you would like to have and get rid of a lot of the noise. You know, there was a minute there a couple years back where I just basically followed as many motivational quotes and entrepreneurs that I possibly could follow on Instagram, because when I opened up my social media, I wanted just to subconsciously absorb good information, positive information. I think a lot of you guys open up social media and you can start feeling depressed if you're on your phone too much. And I think that the result of that is because of so much negativity, and somebody posts about, you know, they have a headache, or, oh my gosh, this migraine won't go away, or, you know, whatever, my car just broke down, whatever complaint that they have next. The complainers always complain, but
yeah, audit the people that you're following, that you're getting your advice from, that you're, you know, whatever. But
limit
also,
the content.
Also audit the people that you literally have in your life, man. I mean, we hear it all the time from, you know, so many successful people, other successful guys that have their podcasts and their communities. I mean, we hear that a lot, but I can attest to it. It's true, man. If you're hanging around people that aren't at the level that you want to be at, you're not going to grow near as fast.
Not happening. Not happening. Some of the investments that we've made that, you know, some of them are still in the works, right? You know, easier accounting. I mean, we have to be $500,000 plus into that. And we've yet to take $1 out of that company, guys. You know, because we believe in it so much. We believe that we should be taking the money and reinvesting it back into the new marketing strategy, or you know, more software, or a new CRM that helps us, you know, take care of our customers better.
Staff.
Yeah, exactly.
Continuing to grow our culture, like, dude, that costs money.
That does cost money, you know, but it's worth it, because there is a ROI on taking care of people.
Dude, we love our people.
We
take care of people. They'll take care of our clients.
Like, we're kind of to the point now where we're trying to build a business that we could impact not only our customers but our employees. We're trying to figure out ways to where we can make sure that they live a good life. And if you start analyzing your business and saying, what can I do for, you know, my people? Right? How can I make sure that they have a good life? And if you really start doing that, and you focus on the people that wake up every day and show up to your place of business, and you invest a little bit into them, dude, the ROI is huge.
We were just talking about it last night on our way back from our Vegas meetings, man. We're like, dude, like, these guys are employees, but they're more like entrepreneurs. Right? Like and we even talked about that. Like, how can we give them an opportunity? It's like they almost build their own business within our business.
A book of
and
business,
we have a lot of great ideas for that that are going to happen. But yeah, man, you got to take care of your people, for sure.
Absolutely.
That's one of the best investments I think you can make, is to yourself and into your people.
I agree 100%.
That are on your journey with you.
And that's part of why we haven't taken any money from the company. You know, if we wanted to fuel a little bit better of a lifestyle, or this, that, the other, you know, we could start taking from that company, but all we're doing is stunning its growth. Right?
Yeah, so, we don't want to fuel ourselves right now. We want to fuel our jets 20 years from now.
Yeah, that's what we're. Let's maybe 10 years. You know, let's not push it so far out.
I know, that's true.
You know, so guys, be careful about taking from your business as well. You know, the goal that we have, again, buying an airplane, being able to have the freedom to hop on a jet and go wherever we want to go, helps fuel some of the decisions. Because if we take from our business now, that goal, if we wanted to have that in 10 years, it might take 20 years because we're taking from the business or whatever it is. But easier accounting, I mean, we're easily $500,000 plus invested into that, and we're still going to continue to invest more and more into that business. We're investing into new systems and software, CRMs, right now as we speak. I've even posted a couple Instagram stories about some of our meetings in regards to that new CRM that's going to help us, even streamline more things and make it easier to take care of people.
The software ideas that we're going to start launching are going to be huge too.
Yep, absolutely. Speaking of software, we made a $100,000 investment last year. Was it last year? Into a software company.
Yeah. Fully vetted the tech team.
Yep. Fully
vetted the business model.
They've already got one piece of software gobbled up by Intuit, right? They were employees of Intuit before it ever did its first $1 million. And there were programmers inside of that company that helped it kind of get to where it is, or were at least a part of that process. And so they have a new idea. They come to us. They need money. We obviously, haggled them a little bit in negotiations, right? To kind of get what we wanted out of the deal. But
security, so we can't get diluted.
Yeah, exactly. And those are all things that we learned from
the mistakes that we've made.
That we've made in terms of vetting that process and figuring out what's in the contract. Yeah. Can our percentage get diluted if we continue to bring on more investor money, to make this software happen? But
isn't it already almost 7-figure business, dude? It's already almost.
I think it is.
Yeah.
It's already doing.
Because it was like 800 something thousand in sales last year, and we're already on pace to break that this year.
Everything's going smooth. But this is more of a long-term investment. We probably won't see a return from it for 4 or 5 years. And we did it a year ago. So, maybe in the next 3 or 4 years. But the pitch was to build a software and sell it off to one of these billion-dollar companies and have them gobble it up for $100 million, and we can make a couple $1 million off of $100,000, provided everything works out, right? So that's still in the process, and we're hoping that one pans out. But Future Nutra, again, that was the one that we've lost a couple $100,000 in Kickstart, and we decided to go over to more of a straight sell model, very transparent in terms of what the pricing will be. We just dropped another $60,000 into that.
And the $60,000 we dropped into that is to develop a better, legitimate product, not just sell what everyone else is selling. We're getting our own formulated products done by experts in the field that's really going to help people that buy it, and that's what we can stand behind. That's how I know that we're going to make this work.
And if they check out and it's $100, it's $100.
Yeah.
Not free trial, get billed a couple weeks later. Yeah. So. Another investment that we made, I think it was last year too. Another $200,000 into an Amazon company.
Wholesale Universe,
Yeah, Utex Luxury.
Well, the guys from Wholesale Universe, great people. We're already making sales. Yep. We've already taken not profits but revenues and re-rolled back into the business. We already know that's going really well.
Yeah, I mean that's a long-term thing as well. We put a couple $100,000 into it, and we agreed with the partner that nobody would touch any of the money for the first year. Yeah. All money that's made within the first year gets reinvested back into the business. And then at the end of the first year, we'll evaluate where the business is at and decide whether we want to take a draw or dividend or continue to roll money, depending. Yeah. Again, we don't want to stunt the growth of a business.
We took our time on it. We didn't just throw a bunch of money into it. We took at least 6 months seeing the numbers, understanding his model. We do a bunch of their accounting, so we see the numbers, we see what the compound effect's having. Yeah. We vetted them as people, which they are amazing people. Yeah. Absolutely love our partnership with them, and we fully believe in them. And so we took our time. I mean, and they weren't rushing us. That was probably a big deal, dude. We started talking about, hey, let's joint venture on something for at least 6 months. Yeah. And we did our operating agreement ironclad so that it's fair for them, fair for us. We took our time, we vetted them as people, their model, their accounting, and we wrote our operating agreements to be fair on both sides before we threw any money at it, before we funded the project.
And that's something that people should know is don't be so greedy. Yeah. If you're going into a partnership or something in terms of a business opportunity, try to look at it from the other side of things as well as your side of things so that both parties have an opportunity to win. Because if you're just trying to take, on a business opportunity, that's not going to last a long time because somebody's going to feel that they're inadequate or underappreciated, and somebody might cut a corner trying to take money because they don't feel like that they're getting the right amount. They feel like they were screwed over on the deal or whatever it is. And so talk that out and talk it out thoroughly and say, is that something that you think is fair, so that they stay motivated, you stay motivated, and both parties have an opportunity to win.
If you're a me person, you'll always find ways to get by and make money or whatever, but you're never going to reach the success that you really want if you're not a giver. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're just a taker, a me person, and you're not willing to give value, you're not willing to want other people to win with you, like, dude, you're screwed. I'm just gonna tell you that right now. Like, you're not gonna reach the level of success that you have the potential to reach unless you get your mind around being a solid person that wants to give value and wants all parties to win.
And project the decision out over 5 years.
Yeah.
Like where do I want it to be in 5 years? Because if you're shorting somebody in a business deal, it's probably only going to last 6 months or 12 months. And then they're going to be like, oh my God, this was stupid. I don't even want to do it. They walk away. Maybe you have money invested and now you're out a bunch of money, rather than making it a fair deal for both parties so that they have vested interest in making sure that the business works long term. They keep their passion, enthusiasm for what they're trying to accomplish for their 5-year goals as well. And if your 5-year goal is to either make a bunch of money or make a big impact, there's only 2 ways to do that, and that's by putting ultimately a good, solid partnership together, right? Like it will not last unless both parties feel like that they're winning, period.
Every time we've chased a quick buck, we've gotten burned, dude.
Absolutely.
Every time. And we've talked about that, and we know that. And that's where all of our learning lessons have been made, is when we were chasing the quick buck.
Well, look at the internet.
Yeah.
The internet has offers all the time.
Yeah.
Make $30,000 a month, invest into this $60 ebook.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Stay away from
like
those.
$60.
Yeah.
If $60 was going to make somebody $30,000 a month, everyone would be making $30,000 a month. And then $30,000 a month would only be worth $60. But and even with TJJK, man, even on that side of things, like,
we've been building that since 2006, really.
Yeah.
I know we rebranded and did, when we had the whole partnership brought out and brought you in and all that stuff. But no, 2008.
But what I was going to say
2008, and it's great. It's a great company now. We do really, really well.
$5-6 million a year with that company. But we invest into referring partners. We help build their business. Just last week, what was it, $22,000 that we sent out just to try to help them in terms of their marketing and getting access to customers, so that we could ultimately get referrals from them. And so not only are we investing into the businesses that make us money, we're investing into our partners that refer us customers, so that their long-term success can happen, so that we have continued long-term success
with them
and for ourselves, right? But we're doing something that we know will benefit them and benefit us. It's a great partnership in some of those scenarios, right?
Absolutely.
And we're just helping people. The reality is, guys, if you actually choose to make impact over money, the long-term money is much greater. If you're just chasing money, you're not going to try to make an impact, and you can pay some bills today, tomorrow, live maybe a good life for a year or 2, 3 years, 5 years, but you'll hit the dead end. You'll burn enough bridges, and enough people, your name will end up being tarnished. You're better off just doing good business. There's many times that you've tried to help other businesses out, or borrowed money, and money just doesn't come back, right? And it's not like you chase them and do lawsuits or anything like that. It's just, okay, well, I know who you are now. It's just not going to happen again. So
exactly.
On the personal side of investments, we invest into funding business deals, business loans, right? That has our money make us a little bit of money, right?
Some syndication,
Yeah. So for instance, if somebody's seeking, a $100,000 business loan, we work very closely with a funding company, and they'll text us and say, hey, $100,000 going out. How much do you want in on it? Right? And I'll text back $10,000 or $5,000. Or if it's a smaller deal and they're only approved for like $30,000, I'll invest $3,000, right? Kind of a good rule of thumb is 5 to 10% of what the deal is. And what ultimately happens, instead of investing $100,000 on one deal and having that potentially default on you, and you lose the full $100,000, you could take that $100,000 and chop it up into 20 different deals.
Right.
Put $5,000 down on 20 different deals. You're diversifying your risk, right? If you have 3 businesses ultimately default, or 4 businesses but 16 pay, you're still going to be a net profit.
Right.
Right. And so, and that's something that we do with a close friend of ours that we've done business with for
we've got a lot of trust
15,
with him.
16 years.
It helps the business owner. Like, they're paying interest and they're probably not happy about, but at the end of the day, like, that's what they need to expand their business. And a lot of them have been coming back because they
do a renewal.
They did get their business to where they needed it to be to pay the loan off, and now they need a little bit more money to take it to the next level. And so those re-ups have been nice too, man. And a lot of the business owners are appreciative. They're like, because the bank won't give them no money. You know, so it's kind of like a win-win-win situation.
Everybody wins.
Almost 90% of the time.
Yeah, exactly. Guys, opportunity finds money or knowledge. That's it, period. And I did a video on this, recently and posted it. If you have no skill set in any particular, like programmers, for instance, my God, those guys can make a ton of money, and they are starting to make a ton of money because they're in more and more demand. They might not have a ton of money sitting there, but because they're in demand for a skill set that they have that we ultimately need, we've got to pay for it.
Yeah.
Right? We had a problem with a CRM with one of our companies, and it's been an issue for the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So on the drive home yesterday from Vegas after some of the business meetings, we're having a tough time tracking down programmers that are just going to jump right into it and get it done.
Make it a priority.
And we figured out, let's wave some money in front of them.
Yeah.
So we sent a text out and says, dude, we'll give you $5,000 if you can fix this within the next 2 days.
Yeah, we need it done in 2 days. You can do it, $5,000 bonus. And they jumped all over it.
Pretty fast response that says,
yeah,
I can't turn that down.
Yeah.
I'll have it done by Friday.
Yeah.
So, guys, money gives you the power to move quicker. Money gives you the ability to invest into opportunities. But again, you have to have money. Like, go into business understanding that usually the first 3 to 5 years, you're not going to make a lot of money. You're not going to get rich. That's the trial and error period where you're going to fail a lot. And it's going to feel really bumpy. You're going to want to quit and give up. You're going to feel alone. You're going to feel all of these feelings that you've never felt before. But that is forging a warrior, right? When you're dealing with those battles, but you wake up every single day ready to fight again. By the time you pop out the other side, you're going to be so mentally strong. You're going to be so business savvy and smart that opportunities will start coming to you. Yeah. People will start seeking you out for advice.
Yeah.
Maybe you can start charging people for advice or whatever it is.
Coaching is like one of the fastest growing industries right now, man. Because it works, but there's a lot of snakes or wolves in sheep's clothing, if you will. So you need to be
very careful.
Yeah, you need to be careful. But at the same time, like, you guys are listening to this right now. It's because you're obviously trying to build something and you're doing the right thing because, you can speed up the process of success. You're still going to fall on your face sometimes. You're still going to make mistakes. You're still going to have those learning lessons. You have to go through some of that, but you can eliminate a lot of that by learning from other people's mistakes. And if you're smart, you will. Yeah. You will learn from other people's mistakes. Ask and ye shall receive, right? The problem is a lot of people when they're in a dark or lonely time and they feel like that their business is crashing down on them, it's you almost want to seclude yourself and just really shut down from the world, because last thing you want to do is your business is beating you up and you want to go out to dinner with your wife and your friends or their friends and try to have a friendly conversation when you've got so much going on in your mind, Or get your ego in check, man. Like, I was a guy that was like, because I had some success in sales and the first business we did launch, we seen some success with it. It eventually ended up failing too. But man, I thought I had a lot of things figured out and wasn't as open-minded to learn, not only from other people's mistakes, but from other people. And so, that's another key tip to eliminating some of that trial and error is be open to learning from people that are doing things that you want to do or that are at a different level than you in your industry. So don't think you have it all figured out. Be open. Yeah. Guys, I mean, it's, when I talk about coaching or this, there's a lot of bad people out there that are just trying to now. Yeah. But what I was about to say is, we do it. Yeah. I mean, we're going to probably invest $200,000 just this year or within a 12-month period in
self-improvement, business improvement, coaching, but
and just leveling ourselves up with those people, surrounding ourselves
being
with those
around
people,
people worth
investment.
hundreds of millions of dollars, right? And you have to do that. Like what I like to say is your today problems is their 5-year-old problem, right? Like they've already seen and done everything that we're trying to accomplish. And people that are trying to accomplish what we've accomplished, we've already seen and done a lot of the things that they're ultimately going to go through. And I have a lot of you guys reaching out asking for coaching or mentoring or this, that, the other. And we're trying to figure all that stuff out. And at one point, we want to put together like a Facebook group, where there's just a small monthly fee where you have access to myself, you have access to Kale, and we can hop in there, do phone calls and do kind of just more educational side of things rather than just chopping it up on a podcast where it's very specific maybe to your business. Sorry, my phone keeps going off here. I got to pick up my suit, dude, for Idaho this weekend. So it's telling me don't forget to pick up my suit. But yeah, guys, don't be afraid to ask people for help, especially when you're struggling. I know it's not probably something that you want to do, but you might be stuck on something that somebody else is like, oh, well, just do this.
Yeah.
And that's the factor that pushes you past that hurdle that you're facing.
So true. Be open.
Yeah, absolutely. So guys, I hope you got some value out of it and of this podcast and understand that we're not perfect. We still see failures and we still get punched in the mouth every day. And as you build a business, understand that it doesn't get any easier.
Yeah.
As when we're doing a couple $1 million a year to $5 million a year, and this year almost 10 million, if not $10 million this year in revenue, it's not getting any easier. We still
it's getting busier, that's for sure.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's still stressful. There's still headaches. We're hopping on planes every few weeks. We're driving somewhere. More phone calls than ever. But this is the process of leveling up. And so if you want to continue to level up, you're actually going to take on more. Yeah. There's still headaches. There's still struggles. There's still failures when you break new levels or new barriers. Going from 10 million to 20 million, there's going to be a lot of failures, throughout that process that will ultimately make us smarter and more efficient business owners. And so you just have to expect it and understand that it's just part of the process. Don't get so frustrated and don't beat yourself up. It's not that you're doing anything wrong.
Yeah.
It's just the process of being successful.
And just don't give up, man.
Yeah.
You know what? You want to be an entrepreneur, you want to be successful, don't give up.
You adjust, or you learn, adjust, and continue to move forward.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing. You fall on your face, you learned why you fell on your face, you adjust and do something a little bit different, and then you execute.
Yeah.
And my guess is that result will be much better than the previous one.
Right.
Or if you fall on your face, it's not going to be as hard. And then you, again, do the same thing. You adapt, adjust, learn, and move on to the next opportunity. So
totally agree.
Guys, I hope you got value out of this podcast. Make sure that you drop us a review, 5 stars preferably. And tell people about us. If you're getting value out of it, people that are close to you. Again, as we talked about in this podcast, you want to surround yourself with people that are like-minded, that are absorbing the same content as you, that are wanting to better themselves just like you want to better yourselves.
Yeah.
And so make sure that they're soaking up the same content that you're soaking up, so you have something to talk about on a weekend rather than that ball game that's on that's basically useless to your financial situation. It's more of a distraction. Of your bad financial situation. Let's talk about something that I don't want to talk about, and that's the failures, right?
Yeah.
And let's distract ourselves by watching a football game or a baseball game or whatever it is, and it's just kind of a little bit of a release, which is all good. Everybody needs it, but at the same time, if you're spreading the word about something that's positive and you're impacting your close friends and family members, they're going to thank you for it. You're a better person for sharing that information. When I found Ed Milet, I told Kel, I'm like, dude, you got to check this guy out.
Yeah.
Kel started following. Now we both love the guy. He's an awesome individual and somebody that we look up to, and somebody that, when he speaks, we listen, and so same type of concept, guys. So make sure you're sharing the podcast with people, share the Instagram page with people. If you haven't gone over to our Facebook page yet, check that out, go give it a like and make sure you're following us there. We need all the support we can get on that.
Man, what's up with that, dude?
Yeah, Facebook's much harsher.
Spread the love on Facebook, man.
Facebook has been harsh to us a little bit.
There's too many haters over there that need our help.
And lastly, YouTube's up. So just if you're trying to find us on YouTube, just search Real Business.
Ask for it.
Yeah, a few people reached out, and we're like, we're working on it, man. We're gonna make it happen, and we've done it. We've made it happen. It's up and running. All the podcasts are uploaded on there. So just search Real Business Owners Channel, and it's gonna be one of the first ones that come up. You're gonna see mine and Kale's pretty face on there. Subscribe to that so that you get your notifications of when we drop something, and we can stay in front of you guys and always provide value to you. So appreciate you guys listening in, and hope you guys have a kick-ass day. Thanks.